Hello, everybody. Yeah, we're back. The Bearded Men of Real Estate show is back. So it has been a long time. There's been a lot of news. A lot of things have happened. I am Ray Ellen. I'm with Pixel Properties, which we'll have more on that in a minute. Dan, who are you with? Where you? Well, actually, wait, there he is. Dan, tell us where you're from. And
for me, like when I look at the screen, I have to go, Ray, like you're above me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're
up to Ray.
You're over there on me. Okay, there you go. So
which side are you on? This side of me? No, that side.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right now.
So Ray's over there, but to me,
I think that's what everyone else sees. I'm not totally sure. I guess we'll figure it out after this show. Pointing over which direction. So where are you from, Dan, and who are you?
My name is Dan Ludwig, and I am with the Sweatek Group. There's the Sweatek Group. I'm sitting in our office right now, and we are in the LA area. So if you ever need a referral for this way, just think Southern California. Think of the Sweatek Group.
LA in Arkansas, we call that Lower Arkansas. So just for those of you who are local watching, it is actually LA. So I am in Rock, Arkansas, right in the kind of the middle of the state. And as you can see, I am nowhere. So I am in the new studio of Pixel Properties. So since the last time we were on a show, we actually launched our own brokerage. So it's been a whirlwind. I know it has been crazy. It's super fun. We call it a brokerage, but really, as you guys know, in real estate, this thing's going to be a media company that specializes in real estate. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. You'll see the studios start to take shape over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have a green screen right there all the way back. So there will be sometimes green behind me on this wall, which you can't really see. But that wall is going to be a whiteboard, a gigantic whiteboard. We're gonna have a bunch of lights and stuff in here, so it'll be cool. I'll give you guys a studio tour at the end. But for those of you who are just joining us, this show is about the news and real estate news. We have a lot of news to cover in a very short amount of time, and I will just prep you up front. This is going to be a Debbie Downer show. So unless you're actually looking to sell, then this is going to be awesome for you. So without further ado. Yeah. So without further ado, I will jump into the show. Okay. Thank you, Dan. So homeowners, sorry, not home buyers. Homeowners are using rental income earned through Airbnb to refinance their mortgage. It's a pilot program that launched just a few weeks ago that took off very quickly, and new loans are already closing. It's another program from mortgage giant Fannie Mae designed to help more borrowers get better loans in today's mortgage market. Airbnb already tracks the income data and now will provide that documentation for a mortgage application. Quote, "We want to enable those borrowers to be able to refinance to lower their mortgage cost and tap into their housing equity," said Jonathan Lawless, Vice President of Consumer Solutions at Fannie Mae. Side note, with the last name of Lawless, if you're in the government, that's pretty cool. Okay. So partnering initially with 3 lenders, Better Mortgage, Quicken Loans, and Citizens Bank, Fannie Mae allows borrowers to use this rental income as part of the income qualification to refinance their home loans. This helps them either get a better interest rate or take cash out for other expenses like renovations or education.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it is rental income. It is income they're making off of a property. So it's great that they're allowing them to actually count that as rental income. That's great. That's what it is. So
well, and it's obviously proven to be legit. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not going to go away.
Right.
It's a thing that's happening, and a lot of people are. So there's a downside to it, but right now a lot of homeowners are going to it because it is. You can rent out your home less over the course of the year and make more money.
Right.
So it's a really win-win. On the other side, though, what it's doing, because here in LA, there's, it is not legal in Santa Monica, and it is not legal in, is it Venice? But like they say, no, you cannot do it. In LA City, it's a little touch and go, but they're straight up just saying.
Airbnb?
Huh?
You can't even have an Airbnb?
Right. Santa Monica, you cannot do an Airbnb.
Wow.
And in LA City, it's I don't know, because I have a couple of clients that are looking right now, investors that are looking to purchase homes, single families, and then Airbnb them. I think that's a verb now, to Airbnb something.
It is now. You heard it here first.
Yeah, it's like done it. But it's like Xerox. We're Xeroxing something. So it's nothing has been put into place where it's illegal, but they will tax you an extra 14% on your property taxes, and you have to register it. So that's the other side of it. But then what it's also doing is it's affecting the rental market, because a lot of there you go, 10,000 fine in Santa Monica if caught.
Wow. Christine,
so
thanks for the input. That's huge.
That's a big deal. Yeah. So if you a lot of people are going from the long-term rentals into what they call transient rentals. That's 30 days or less, because they're netting more profit. These homeowners are, but it's affecting the rental market quite a bit. So I don't know if that's happening all across the country, but for sure here in LA, there's a lot going on with this, and I've done a lot of research on it in the last month.
In our market, Airbnb is kind of a godsend, because you don't really need a full-time property manager to manage some properties. And there's a lot of properties in Arkansas that aren't easy to get to, that are great, cabins and things like that in the woods, lake houses that people, are a couple of hours away. So this allows them to rent out that property, manage it. So it's really great for Arkansans. And now that they can refi, counting that income, that's even better for them.
For sure. Yeah. Cause that's what I was going to say too, is exactly what you're referencing. We have kind of fringe areas. Hi. Oh, look, it's JB. This is a member of our
full screen for you. There he is.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
He can't really be on the show because he has no beard. I don't think he can even grow a beard, but he's here anyway.
Hi, JB.
No, yeah.
It's not funny.
He's trying to do the Jacob joke where I say hi, but he did it as he's newer to the video thing, but he's doing really good. He's a good kid, so we'll allow it.
All right, what's next?
Okay, here, let's do it. Say hi, JB.
Hi.
Oh, it's terrible.
Hi, JB.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
I'm learning. I'm new. I'm not as cool as Dan.
So anyway, kind of just to end on your point is there's some areas where like maybe people wouldn't want a long-term rental, but they're nice areas for camping, or kind of, so people are doing these kind of really nice remodels and then Airbnb-ing them, and it's pretty cool. All right, so that was kind of a positive one. I'm gonna start the negativity, and then Ray's gonna really just drive it home. So home ownership is increasing for the wealthy, according to the latest sales data. While real estate economists, let me get this. I'm gonna stop what I'm gonna say there. While real estate economists, I think you say that, continue to blame the pitiful. Economists blame the pitiful 3 to 4 month supply of total listings. By the way, a 6th month supply is considered a balanced market. A better indicator is a chart on the second to last page of the National Association of Realtors monthly sales report. It breaks down sales by price point. You're going to see, hi, JB. This is what we do live when you go live in a very busy office. Jacob's in the other office meeting with a new agent too. Sales of homes priced below $100,000 fell 13% in January, year over year. Sales of homes priced between $100,000 and $250,000 dropped just more than 2%. The share of first-time buyers also declined to 29%, compared with 33% a year ago. So we're back to the more doom and gloom, everything's dropping thing. Now, a quote by Joe Kirchner, or Kirshner, let's say Kirchner, senior economist for Realtor.com. Affordable inventory has been more depleted than expected, and the upcoming spring home buying season will likely be filled with bidding wars and multiple offers, aka the California market in the last 3 years.
For real.
Yeah.
Well, so it kind of makes sense when you think about it. If prices are going up, then quote unquote increasing for the wealthy homeownership, that tends to make sense. So yeah, and you could probably speak more to it as far as price points go, because I don't have anything right now that I could find for anyone under $250,000. I don't have anything under $300,000 that's not a condo. Well, so for several years, our average price has been about $170,000. Now it's probably around 180, maybe 190. But there's still a lot you can find in that price range, but it's not in the most desirable areas. So now we're seeing the most desirable areas tick over 200. There's a couple of areas where you're not going to find anything under 250 because of the school systems and that kind of thing. So
Right.
I would say it kind of, it ebbs and flows, but right now it's definitely a lot harder. Let's see. Let's go with that headline.
Yeah, get the headline, because here's where this is the doom and gloom, and it does not rise out of it.
Here we go. Tight supply, rising prices weigh on U.S. home sales. U.S. home sales unexpectedly fell in January. They say unexpectedly, but if you're watching the show November, December, that's not unexpected, leading to the biggest year-on-year decline in more than 3 years. As a persistent shortage of houses pushed prices and kept first-time home buyers out of the market. The National Association of Realtors said on Wednesday that existing home sales dropped 3.2% to a seasonally adjusted rate of 5.38 million units last month. This was the second straight month of declines that reflected decreases in all 4 regions. Economist poll by Reuters had forecast existing home sales rising 0.9% to a rate of 5.6 million units in January, which I have no idea why they forecast that. Maybe they were thinking hurricane stuff, as people were buying and improving those homes. I don't know.
Which we kind of touched on a little bit, yeah.
Existing home sales, which account for 90% of U.S. home sales, declined 4.8% year-on-year basis in January. That was the biggest year-on-year drop since August 2014. The weakness of home sales is largely a function to supply constraints rather than a lack of demand. Quote, the utter lack of sufficient housing supply and its influence on higher home prices muted overall sales activity in much of the U.S. for last month, said Lawrence Yoon of the NAR's chief economist.
So maybe there's, like, if you want to find the silver lining, maybe the declines are because of low inventory, not necessarily less people wanting to buy. Right?
Correct. Right. But so how do you fix that?
That's the thing, is how do you get more sellers? Because that's what how many times have we said it in the last 3 months of doing the show? How do you get more sellers off the fence and into selling? A lot of them, we hear the same thing. I'm sure you hear the same thing. They want to, I want to make sure I'm at the top of the market and we're going to touch on it later because I'm also buying, or whatever the thing is. How do they maximize themselves right now? And I think, I'll wait till we get to it later with the selling and buying thing. But what if you're just selling a home and you don't believe we're at the top of the market yet? How do you get those people off the fence?
Yeah, great question.
We know
a lot of real estate agents also kind of watch this show. So chime in, let us know about your area and the housing supply. Oh, there's Francesca Tolson. She says, hi, guys, supply and demand. Yep,
all right. That's
pretty much it. So Francesca is one of our agents at Pixel now. Thanks.
Ooh,
yeah,
pretty
sweet. Cool. Isn't that cool? All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me get this headline on here for you. You're all set.
We ready? All right. Okay, we promise, guys. It's still going to go, get bad again.
We're going down.
Weekly mortgage applications tank, such a heavy word, tank even more as rising rates make homes less affordable. I don't know, is that really the case? But because I don't think rates have gone up too crazy, but I kind of get it. It's a little bit of a kind of gotcha headline, but anyway, the numbers are getting uglier for potential home buyers and homeowners looking to save money. Mortgage interest rates jumped again last week, causing mortgage application volume to fall 6.6% on a seasonally adjusted basis from the previous week. Volume was just 3.5% higher than a year ago, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. Applications to refinance a home loan, which are most rate sensitive, fell 7% for the week and were 2.8% higher than a year ago. When interest rates were lower, a year ago when interest rates were lower, the refinance share of mortgage activity decreased to its lowest level since July, 44.4% of total applications from 46.5% the previous week. So is it really because the rates are so crazy, though?
So that's the question. Is it because the rates are so crazy, or is it because of the lack of supply?
I would even add another thing here in California. It's maybe a little bit of rates, but to me, what it is if people see rates going up, then they're going to kind of do anything they can to get pre-qualified now to see at least if they can put their foot in the water and see if it's warm enough. And then it's also a little bit of lack of supply, which that 3 to 4 month range that they gave earlier that's really high. We're less than that here in my markets. And then the last one to me would be just affordability, not necessarily based on rates, just what do homes cost in certain areas. There's some areas which are solid, but they're $1 million areas just because they're kind of solid and they have pretty good schools, so
right.
Can people consistently, like how long can they consistently afford $1 million homes plus, so that's kind of a California thing.
Well, and the other question is how long can people stay in their current home? So for years, everybody's been moving. Well, during the height of the bubble, right before the bubble burst, people were moving every 2 to 3 years. That was insane. That had never happened before.
That's fast.
Yeah. Previously, it was every 5 to 7 years. So the question is, how much longer can people stay in their home? Are they willing to stay in their house longer than 5 to 7 years? If not, if I was a real estate agent, which I happen to be, I would be contacting sellers who purchased their home 5 to 7 years ago, because now's a really great time for them to go ahead and sell. They've already got the itch. They're kind of past that point. So that's one thing that we can do as agents is start letting people know this stuff, that now's a really great time. If you're a seller, now's a great time to sell your home, maximize the value. So we need the inventory. And then we work hard, just like we're finding them to list and sell. We work hard to find them a home or maybe a new construction, which we'll talk about that in a minute too. So, and just to put it in context, Dan mentioned the 3.4 month of supply. Nationally, they say 6 month of supply is balanced. So that 3.4 is pretty low. So that means in areas like yours that are super hot, that's much lower. It's like a 2 month supply,
and that's
in a lot of our area.
And that's the average over the entire nation, not just specific areas. So 3 months,
like
that's
and also luxury.
Yeah.
So
I was also going to say too, kind of touch on your point, if you guys are real estate agents, again, turns out we are, it's really easy to get that info. How long have people owned their homes? Just do a quick search or have different vendors are different in different, that can provide this stuff. But we have it here in California where they can provide that info for you fairly easily. And you can just start calling people and knocking on doors, put together a campaign with a flyer and, come up with a little marketing project and try to get them off the fence, or at least let them know where everything's at. And then if you find those, tap into those people that are also buying. It's a great time to get them out there.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's keep going with the fantastic doom and gloom. Spring may not be pretty for first-time buyers. The shortage of homes and surging prices, which we've been talking about, are hitting first home buyers particularly hard heading into the spring season. The share of first-time home buyers dropped to 29% of all existing home sales in January, down from 33% a year ago, according to the latest housing report from the National Association of Realtors. Quote, first-time home buyers are typically people with tighter budget, says Joseph Kirchner, Realtor.com senior economist. We've already quoted him today, haven't we? Good job, Joe.
Wow.
You're in there twice.
2 appearances. Nice work, Joe.
Right. They're looking for homes on more affordable end of the market, but this is where the lack of homes is most severe. There's plenty of demand, but people just cannot find a home in the market that meets their needs, and they can afford. It's not a good start for the spring market. The shortage will continue, end quote. So in January, there were 15.5% fewer existing homes selling for $250,000 or less, which is also what you talked about compared to a year ago. On the other hand, the biggest gains in homes were from those selling $500,000 or more, which saw a 25% uptick. So what does that mean?
That's a big uptick.
That's a huge uptick especially for that. So in our market, 500,000 is luxury. In your market, 500,000 is like normal, right?
Yep, that's my average through all my transactions last year. My average price point was $502,000 or $508,000 on the buy side and $512,000 on the listing side. So right around the $500,000 mark. So I don't see how
he's chiming. Spring is going to be ugly. Colin, if any of you are in Littlestown, Colin has been searching for buyer or sellers in Littlestown for months.
Dude,
so he's got.
I was just going to bring him up actually because yeah, he made a video literally saying, I have buyers and I'm standing in front of neighborhoods. There's not one listing, not low inventory, no listings. I have 5 buyers or whatever it was in his video. Zero listings. Is this how you draw 0 on camera? 0.
Yeah, it works.
There's 0 listings. So if you have anyone looking to move to Littleton, call Cameron.
Is it Littleton? Littlestown.
Littlestown.
Anyway. Yeah, that'll work. But anyway, we have the same issue. We are actually doing a video right now with one of our agents that's looking for somewhere in a pretty high demand area, and they just can't. They can't find anything. So, and I have really great for, in my opinion. So there's a key phrase in this article. It says there's plenty of demand, but people just cannot find a home in the market that meets their needs and they can afford. I really think in the day and age of HGTV and Chip and JoJo and all the, it's not that meets their needs. It's really that meets their wants. Because there are homes out there with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths with closets and a garage in a pretty good area, and it's for sale at an okay price, but it looks like, great grandma's house, right? Yep. So if it looks like great grandma's house, people are like, well, we don't really want that one. That's not meeting a need. That's meeting a want. So you know who this is great news for? Investors. Someone who's looking to buy a property, they purchase the property, they go in and they do all the, the flooring, the paint, cabinetry, all that kind of stuff. And then they put it back on the market and suddenly it meets all of these buyers' needs, right? So needs. So I think this could be a really great time. If you can find a fairly good house that's kind of been rejected by the market, you can go in there, make some changes, put it back on the market. I think you could do really well as an investor.
And so to kind of add to that, I have these conversations up front in my buyer's consult. In case I haven't mentioned it 72,000 times, I'm a buyer's agent, solely a buyer's agent. I'm a buyer's agent for the Sweat It Group. I mentioned this in my, so it's kind of, so a lot of people don't view buyers as having like objections like a seller would, which is, I don't want to pay that commission or I don't want to put a sign in the yard. But they do have objections, but a lot of times it comes through in like the wants versus needs thing or things that they're scared about. I view those as objections. So I handle those up front. And one of them I handle is this exact thing in the day and age of Chip and Joanna and Jonathan and the other guy, the Property Brothers and all this stuff.
Her friends coming.
And I handle that. I break down homes. And this is just a little tip for you guys. I break the houses, every market down by 1 through 10. 1 through 5 is not livable. 6 is where you begin to start. You can move into the home, but you're going to have to put some sweat equity into it, most likely paint, carpet, and things like that. Maybe scrape the ceilings. And then 7 is move-in ready. You don't have to do anything, but it's grandma's house. She's been there for 50 years. Maybe updated in 86. And then 8, 9, and 10 are all the updates, right? A 10 being the perfect little farm chic house and all that stuff. But here's the thing that I always hit them with is that every single point you have to pay for it. So you can earn yourself more money and make the home your own. If you can leverage yourself and get into a home for a little bit cheaper and then make the home your own, not what someone else did. You can make it your own. And then earn that, because if you're doing kitchens and bathrooms, you're going to be earning most of that money back, at least here in Southern California, you're going to be earning it back. So I kind of handle that up front to make sure they know that is a want, not a need.
I love that.
Little tip for you guys there.
Great tip. I like how you broke it down in the numbers. We kind of break it down kind of vague, like, into the different categories of work you're willing to do, work you're not willing to do. But I like breaking it down to the numbers because then you probably hear your buyers start to rate them based on those numbers, right? Like, well, this is like a 7 or 8 because that's one of the things I was telling another agent about. I use a phrase that another agent in our marketplace taught me a long time ago. She said, everyone buys houses that have a smile, a pimple, and a wrinkle. And you buy it for the smile, you work on the pimple, right? But then you learn to live with the wrinkle.
Right.
And so in our buyer's consult, we kind of go through those things and different ideas, like the wrinkle, maybe the slanted driveway or, the busy intersection that you're near, but you buy it for the smile.
Yeah.
And so we hear buyers, some of them, it's really funny. The kind of the positive ones, I guess you could say, will compare the smiles, and some of the more negative buyers will buy the one with the least worst wrinkle.
Yeah.
So, and they'll even comment about it. So that's really great. I like the numbers thing too. I'm going to
they do.
Colin's comment.
Yeah.
Because he starts with 100% right. So I'm definitely reading that one. First-time buyers right now are lacking the information and willingness to perform the sweat equity, which is exactly what you're talking about.
So I was 100% right. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, if you're a buyer, if you, I don't know what he's saying here, are able to put in a little bit. If you're a buyer, we're able to put in a little bit of work, you're going to do in a much better position in this market. Yeah, he's
exactly.
And Littlestown has 4,000 people,
and
they're all tuned into our show today.
That's
Colin. We're probably solving your inventory issue right now.
Yeah, and that's honestly why I have that conversation with them. Part of it is because I'm handling it up front. I'm making sure that and I'm also seeing where they're at. Are they okay with putting in some sweat equity with things? But it's exactly that. Jonathan's currently messing with what's it called? Osmo. Look at his new toy, Ray. Cool. Look at.
I got one of those things.
A DJI Osmo with a cable built in. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's a little bit different. Is that their new version?
New accessory. This is the 4K camera, just the normal Osmo, not the Osmo Mobile. But we just got this accessory so you can walk or run essentially, and it still maintains level camera.
So it's got your up and down, because the Osmo already solved your left and right. So that's got your up and down taken care of. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Send me a link to that. That's going to be my pick of the week. Okay. Let's see.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, Dan,
we're getting bombarded. Say hi, Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
See, he does it the right way.
He does it the right way.
JB's still learning.
New glasses, Ray?
That's what I group. Yeah, they're clear, so they're not noticeable.
Are they Warby Parkers?
Yeah, they are. I can't remember.
I'm good, huh?
Yeah. Do you have these?
Oh, cool.
No, but I you know how they send you 5 and then you can decide if you want them? They're one of the ones that I tried on. I liked them. But I don't want to look like you, so I...
Yeah, the whole beard. Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
Okay, Joanna, come in here real quick. So since we're just bringing everybody into the game, we're just bringing everybody in. So say hi, Joanna.
Hi.
Oh, wait.
Just say hi, Joanna.
There she is. So Joanna was the agent I was telling you about earlier that we're going to have to do the video because of shortage of supply.
Yep.
Yes, we need more houses.
Hi, Joanna.
There you go. He's got a whole bunch.
I like his microphone. How do we get one of those?
Hey,
everybody.
You should go buy one.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi,
You guys go.
Okay. All right. See you later.
Work. All right. Anyway,
Dan,
so
back to you, buddy.
Enough with the interruptions, which I'm going to have another one in a second. But I just want to finish on that point is that Colin made is that you can really so Mike Elizabeth Rodell, my last buyer spent $20K more on a home with the same specs because the cheaper home had dirty walls.
Yeah.
So
she's echoing Colin's point about sweat equity, little elbow grease.
Exactly. Because if you do sweat equity, by the way, if you're an agent that doesn't know what that is, or if you're a buyer that doesn't know what that is, that's doing things on your own without hiring a contractor and making it a little less expensive, a little less costly, but you still get the benefit of it. And a lot of carpet and paint and whatever like that, if you can get that stuff done, it'll pay off dividends for sure. So, and it opens up their shirts.
More of her, less of Jacob. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, more of her, less of Jacob. All right, so back to, and I am on, Dan. Surge in new home construction sparks confidence for the housing market in 2018. A positive.
See how it sandwiched them in.
Housing Wire reports that new home construction started the new year with a bang. Housing starts jumped almost 10% in January, and experts believe this increase in new construction could provide much needed relief to a housing inventory that still sits at record lows. Key takeaways: privately owned housing started increasing 9.7 month over month to 1.3 million in January. Multifamily housing starts showed exceptional growth. Single family starts showed modest growth. Building permits authorized for multifamily units jumped more than 7%. Permits for single-family units decreased 1.7%. So people are doing that multifamily thing. Yeah.
So what is the multifamily like in your area?
Well, as far as like numbers go, or what it is, because a lot of people are doing the casita thing right now, which is the house and then the mother-in-law quarters is what it's also called. But here we're calling them casita. It's not because mother-in-law quarters can be a little derogatory. So it's a casita. It's a separate house that has everything you need. A lot of new construction is building that where it's its own house. You can do everything you need. And in some areas, it even has its own garage. It's a 3-car total garage, but now it has its own garage entrances, everything. And it's part of the square footage. Later, man.
That's interesting. So we don't have a lot of those at all. But our multifamily has been increasing for a long time. There's specifically an area in North Little Rock that they're developing, like I think 4 different definitely 3 different apartment complexes. Just a ton of growth in multifamily because the urban infill is still happening in our area. It is getting a little bit less, but we still need a lot of single family starts to happen.
Yeah. I've talked about that before. We have plenty of it.
Francesca has a few multifamily units, have a lot of people in California calling about them. That's true. They're great units. And this kind of goes back to that thing about Airbnb too. There's something that people have been able to do for years that not a lot of people have known about. But with an FHA loan, I think a VA loan as well, you can purchase a multifamily unit up to 4 units and live in one of them. You have to live there for, I think, 2 years, and you can rent out the other units, essentially covering more than your mortgage.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, Ray. I was going to say this helps the, multifamilies here. A lot of people are like, what if I could live in one, like, if it has the front house and then 3 apartments behind it attached? What if I could buy that, live, and then rent? Airbnb the other ones out, make them nice, and then Airbnb them. You got to be location-wise here in California, but I think it's a great idea.
You can use your Airbnb income to refi and get a much better rate on the whole thing.
Yep.
This is all great news for everyone today. I'm glad that we did so much good news.
We just full circled it in one episode. Oh my gosh.
And what do we, basically what we were going to talk about in the deep dive, I think we've already covered.
Kind of, yeah. And I know, we both have appointments in about 12 minutes, so we can kind of just put a head on it if you wanted. How does a seller sell and buy in this market? If you just want to kind of hone in on it. So, sorry.
No, we got to do that. So, and that was our big question that we were going to talk about. We've already kind of covered it through a lot of the stories, but how does a seller sell and buy in this market? Because one of the big problems is they're saying, well, I don't want to put on my house on the market when I can't find a property. So how do you deal with that? You've been dealing with that a lot longer than we have here in Arkansas. So whenever a seller says that to you guys, what do y'all do?
And give me a little more specific.
So a seller wants to sell their house and buy another house, but they're afraid to list their property and not have anywhere to go.
Okay, so the real simple answer is that we list it as contingent. So I think it's called when you're on the buy side, it's called a COP. Jonathan,
we don't even have that in Arkansas. I've never heard of that.
When you're on so I forget, it's not an SRPR, but anyway, it's when like Jacob would list the home, he's the listing side. On the buy side, we list it as contingent. So any buyer offering in that situation knows that they have to close on this home concurrently. Their home closes first, and they take that. They're using those proceeds, and then that goes to the next home. And then when I'm writing the offers, I do what's called a contingent on sale of property form, which lets the people we're offering on their home, letting them know that we got to sell this first. So they're totally agreeing with it. It's all part of the contract. So that's just the simple answer. And then there's a lot of, we could go an hour of how we manage it, but that's the simple form is we just make it all part of the contract.
That's good. So we don't, I think I've only done it once, but there's no real form for us doing that. We just knew we had a really hot property and we were going to list it contingent upon their ability to find and acquire another property. And so we were able to do that, but it's also, just going through and showing them exactly what we're doing and how we find properties. In my experience, it's been a lot easier to find a house, even with limited inventory, than to sell a house. Because sometimes you list the house, and I don't know about it being in your area, but in our area, sometimes you'll list it and you think you've got it priced to sell, and you realize that you've actually priced to negotiate. So then you have to make some adjustments and that kind of thing in the marketing plan and scheme. But we still have our group has an average stays on market less than 30. So traditionally we still sell them very quickly, and we can also find them a home. 82% of our buyers buy one of the first 5 we show. And because it's not as competitive, I mean, lately, right now it's been more competitive. I'm working with a couple of buyers that they'll pick out a home, and then before we know it, it's under contract. But that's not the norm here. Yeah. So normally you have a day or two to consider, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
we're just encouraging our sellers to go ahead and list, because the other thing in a hot market like this, a seller doesn't want to take an offer contingent upon the sale and close, but they will take one contingent upon the close. Does that make sense?
You cut out there. Repeat it.
Oh, so in our market, a seller doesn't want to take an offer contingent upon the sale and close of the home, but they will take it contingent upon the close of the home, meaning that it's already under contract. Yeah.
So
we run into that a lot.
We have that a lot too, and that's where it gets into where we could really go into it and how we do it, how we handle it and stuff. It's all, we do it so much that we have, and I do have a question for you, Ray, that I'll get to after I make this point, but we have, we just have a system that we do. It's all the same thing. Yeah. So when we do the listing appointment, it's also a buyer's consult. Usually he will have already had the paperwork or maybe he's already done kind of the pop buy or the listing appointment, and then we're going back to get the paperwork signed. Then I take over on the buy side and do my consult. Cool. And then I get them, make sure they're all pre-approved and make sure they're all set up on a search and all that stuff. And then we kind of just hang out while we go through our delayed launch and all that stuff. Again, separate topic. And then once we do the open house, then that's when they go active. That's when we start looking at properties. Because now I know, just for me and how I sell that to potential sellers that we're going to be offering on their homes, I know how that open house went. I know if we're going to generate any offers. I know we had good interest. I know we had no interest. So, and on that COP form, by the way, that I talked about, the contingent on sale of property, it says home is not in escrow or home is in escrow with.
Gotcha.
So it's a little scarier when it's not in escrow, but if there's the rare case, like I have one now, they kind of have another offer, but not really. The seller just kind of has to deal with it. So if I was competing with someone that didn't have a home to sell, and we are not even in escrow on our listing, then that's a very tall hill to climb, a very steep hill to climb.
You guys are already writing offers over list price. So here that's kind of rare, but here that's the remedy, is to go over list price and not ask for anything. But now you're paying more for the house you're gonna buy.
Yeah,
so you might as well get your home on the market and get a discount.
And we always keep it like where it's going to appraise. Like we don't just go crazy. Not a lot of buyers want to go crazy and pay for something that's not going to appraise. But if we get it to appraise and it's going to be well with that thing, the people don't mind paying up. So because they know the equity's there and they know it's been proven. But I just want to ask you real quick. So do you have a lot of sellers that are not purchasing, or they're going out of state, or why don't you have as much as we do?
Well, why don't we have as much moving out, or why don't we have as much doing
like
both?
Selling and also purchasing? Like, why aren't they contingent on one another like they are here?
Well, they're not contingent. It's usually contingent upon the close of the one they're selling, but we don't have to list it contingent upon them being able to find a home, because usually it takes longer for it to sell.
Oh, so you have people that are ready to buy the next home. They don't need that equity, or they're already pre-approved without having to sell the home?
Equity. So that my seller has to make an offer contingent upon the sale, but the buyer for my seller doesn't make an offer contingent upon my seller's ability to find a home. So they're willing to be homeless in order to sell it. Here.
That's what I'm asking. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're willing to go up into an apartment for 3 months. There's a lot of like 1 month, 3 month solutions, but normally we can find them a house, no problem.
Yeah, well, especially if your numbers are so much quicker. But yeah, that's the question we get. How am I going to not be homeless? And we're like, no, it's no big deal. You're not going to be homeless. Here's why. And it's not just how we do it. We say you're protected by contracts on the listing side and then the buy side. Like, you're good.
That's interesting.
So That's
well,
how
if the market gets any heavier here, we may have to do something like that. But right now, it's still okay.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. You want to do real quick? I have my pick of the week. You want me to get into that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what? I don't think we get good sound effects. I think we just do that.
No, we just do that from now on.
I think that's it. I don't think we ever change. All right. So we always like to do a pick of the week, things that could help you out. And to me, mine's kind of a broad one, but it's really helped me out since in the last few weeks since we've done our last BMORE is, dude, mastermind groups on Facebook. They're free and they're priceless. Like I'm in 10 different mastermind groups where like there's an open house one, maybe 2 or 3 open house ones. There's a video one or 2 video ones that Ray and I are part of together. There's just overall mastermind. Like I have a general problem. How do you handle this? Like the one I go to the most is for video. Like, what do you think about this idea? Or what do you do when and stuff like that. But if you guys are not, and this is obviously to real estate agents, but if you guys are not part of mastermind groups or only part of one and you don't really, use it, you need to be in these mastermind groups because not only can you ask questions and get really good feedback, usually these groups that I'm in, if there's 4,400 members, there's usually only going to be about 50 people that are active that comment, and they're going to most likely be top agents that you're hearing from. So you're getting essentially free advice, and the other cool thing that I've really, really fell in love with is that this is advice from not just your local market in Southern California or wherever you may be. This is advice from I hear from Ray, here's what we do in Little Rock. Our friend Colin, here's what we do in PA. Here's what, what I mean? Littlestown.
That's what he said. Colin chimed in and said, turn off Dan's mic. He's talking about Fight Club.
No, I'm not. Am I? These are mastermind groups.
I think he's just commenting that you're giving away the secrets of how we were getting all of our info here.
Yeah.
But no, that's great. I love the masterminds. I mean, there's a couple of big ones that I'm involved with. It's, they definitely help me get a different perspective on what I'm doing here, because if I only looked at the top producers here, then that's essentially my ceiling. So if I can find other mastermind groups, other people that have been doing some non-traditional things in their market, making headway. And I also hear of people that are doing some non-traditional things in their market and it's failing terribly. So when that happens too, it kind of avoids some costly mistakes as well.
Yeah, they can fail for you.
That's right.
So we'd rather run, 1,000 miles into a wall over and over again until something works than not be running at all. So you can allow other people to run into those walls for you.
Right. Love it. Well, my pick of the week is going to be simple because we've got 1 minute, and it's going to be that thing that JB showed. I want you to post the link in the comments because everybody knows.
I will. I'll go find it.
I think everybody. Well, I'm assuming everybody who's watching currently has watched all of our shows, which I'm sure you have. But everybody knows I have a DJI Osmo as well, and so adding that little attachment would be pretty cool. So that's my pick of the week. I'm wondering if it works for the DJI Osmo Mobile though, because he had the little round camera.
He has both. He has the mobile too, and I'm assuming I can ask him, and then I'll comment on there. But
cool.
Yeah, but it should, because he has both. It was like a package deal that he got. It was the Osmo and the 4K camera one. So
wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Colin Jacobs in the house. He says, yo, hey Colin, how's it going? He has a cool thing called Lotus List. If you've never looked it up, you should. Francesca laughed at us. And Billie Jean said she hadn't heard of mastermind groups yet. So, and Billie Jean, Billie Jean works as a lender now. So, in a lending institution, she's like a business development person for a big company. So she should definitely check it out.
Yeah, they're Razorbacks.
My name on Twitter. Speaking of where you can find anyone, my name on Twitter is Razorback. R-A-Y. Here, I'm going to type it. R-A-Y-Z-O-R-B-A-C-K. You can also find that name on Instagram, Facebook, pretty much anywhere anything social is. That's probably my name. Except on Snapchat, it was taken. I'm the Ray Ellen on Snapchat. Because Ray Ellen was also taken. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
So Dan, where could everybody
by the
find
way,
you?
Just so you know, on Snapchat, I took Ray Allen. Sorry.
Don't send him pictures.
If you ever, we obviously talk a lot about our videos and things that we do differently. The SWOT group, we believe that we do things outside the box. Whether we do or not, I don't know. You can be the judge. But if you want to find that, just go to the SWOTgroup.com. It'll take you to our Facebook page. Or everywhere, I am D Ludwig Rocks, like Ray just put on the screen. DLUDWIGROCKS. D Ludwig Rocks. Find me, shoot me a friend request. I'd love to chat with you guys about anything. And obviously, if you're doing anything to Southern California, send it my way. I would love to help you guys. And if you're doing anything in the Little Rock area, boom, Ray's your guy.
Pretty much central Arkansas. There's like 4 counties that we serve.
Yeah,
we spread out over here. Well, thanks everybody again for watching. I appreciate your time given to us. Thank you so much for the feedback and interaction. That's really what makes this a lot of fun for us, is hearing your comments. And if you are watching this later and you've got questions, feel free to reply in the comments section. We will find that later and reply to you there, so you can kind of keep the conversation going. And last but not least, if you like this, please share it. If we're getting some good feedback and good discussion, we will keep doing it. If not, if people don't like it, then we won't keep doing it. So, well, we might actually still do it even if nobody likes it.
We're gonna still keep going. Let's go.
Are you ready for your $100 shot?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
So it's different now, right?
I'm donating $100 to charity. If he misses it, he donates 10.
And I think this will be $40 if I miss.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Ready. Oh, that was so close.
Oh,
that was so close. All right, Dan is 40 in the hole.
Dang it.
All right, thanks again, everybody. Good stuff. See you next time.
Thanks, dudes.